Hey, everybody, and welcome to CB and the Boys. I am CB, your hostess with the mostess. And let's make sure that our mics are all on. That's what I thought. Hey, everybody, this is CB. Welcome. Welcome to the show. We've got a great show for you tonight. Or our topic is getting some feedback. Sorry, guys. I'm having technical difficulties real quick. But anyway. So we've got a great show for you tonight. Our topic tonight is refined versus unrefined and the characteristics and why things are the way they are. So look forward to that. So without further ado, George, roll that beautiful bean footage. Here we go.
Welcome to CB and the Boys with Crystal CB Booker, George Biker Boy Holman, Roger Hawkins, and Mimi Acosta. Coming live and direct from YouTube, Facebook, iHeartRadio, Blog Talk Radio, and Apple Podcasts. Bringing you hot topics, interviews, live entertainment, and fun every Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central. And now, prepare to get charged up with a whole lot of fun from CB and the Boys.
All right. And welcome back, everyone. Did you guys have a good work week so far, since we are your midweek motivator? How's everybody doing tonight?
Hey, we here. What about y'all? I'm busy as heck, but it's the usual. So how's everybody else rocking it?
I'm good. Present and accounted for.
Absolutely.
Mimi, you look like you about to throw that off as soon as it's time.
Hi, Ariana.
Stop playing. What's up, Ariana, baby girl? Ariana Booker, baby, in the building.
All right. Shouting out to moms.
That's my mini me.
Okay. What you doing up this late? In the bedtime?
Right.
Now that's only when you get up. See, when you get older, you're gonna look at it.
Yeah,
see, that's the difference when you're young.
Even thinking about that,
honey. That little thing ain't got no
you gotta go to
bedtime.
bed super early. No,
Hell
but hey,
yeah, man.
go further in. She will. The further she gets along, she'll be looking forward to it again. See, when you're a baby, and then when you get to be old, you start looking forward to that 10 o'clock bedtime. Nah, she's got a long time. She got a long time to stay up late. I hear you.
Yes,
Yeah, mine do it.
that's
So yeah. So come on, people. I know the news has been blowing up this week. I mean, it's just every time you turn around, it's just madness. What's going on? Is it the water? Are they chemtrailing us? What's going on with everybody?
It's the water, baby. It's the water. The water is something in the water.
No.
It's insane. It's what it is. It's absolutely insane.
Well, what's crazy is I'm not really the person that just looks at the news all day, every day. I'm not doing it. That's, when my grandmother was alive, she did it. Now my sister's taking over. But you can't help it. Like, some of the stories are just everywhere. I mean, just some of that
timeline.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Even if you don't want to, you're just going to see it. So it just makes me go, damn, it's just like really, it's like that out there right now, just in a lot of ways. I think it's kind of always been bubbling below the surface. But now some people are just, that voice in your head that tells you to say and do things. People are starting to listen to that damn thing. Doing shit.
Yes,
it used to be, you didn't listen to it. You'd be like, all right, guy on my shoulders. Shit, people are listening to that damn guy now. So,
and now they want to blame it all. They want to blame it all on mental illness. That's the thing now. That's the new thing. The new thing is, Joe flipped off and killed everybody. Oh, he had mental illness. No, he didn't. Joe was planning that the whole time. He was pissed off. Anyway.
Okay, so
Yeah.
interesting stance on that. I'd like to know your stance on why you think that. Like as far as is it all is or it isn't? I mean, because you're right, it gets a lot. Mental illness carries a lot of weight. It does a lot of heavy lifting for people doing dumb shit. So, do you think that there's a huge percentage or a small percentage that really is, not ill, as opposed to everybody using that as a crutch now?
Well, people are using that. I think people are using that as a crutch. Yeah, because this is the thing. In a lot of families, it does run. Like, it runs in our family. And some of us might pop off who were not diagnosed. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things where there's a possibility that it could be like, okay, well, it runs in the family and she wasn't diagnosed for it, but she popped off as though she is. And then before you know it,
right.
At some point during the course of being arrested and going to trial, oh yeah, well, she has mental illness, or not,
right.
depending on the color on the skin and how much money you got. That's just the reality of it. That part right there.
Okay. Yeah, no
Well,
doubt.
I think that there's a little mental illness in all of us, to be honest. As a parent, kids can drive you batshit crazy. But in our communities, we were taught to internalize, not verbalize, not export, but import. Because for whatever reason, for as long as I can remember, people of color just don't seek therapy. People of color do not ask for help. People of color do not go seeking help. And that's just how it's been in our communities. Like, what happens in our household stays in our household. You don't go outside of the house and voice your opinions or tell family secrets, because that's what they looked at it as being a family secret.
Right.
Somebody is out of their mind. Someone's schizophrenic. There are so many, names for, being mentally ill now. It's not just, walking around, talking to yourself, having conversations or full-blown arguments with yourself. It's being schizophrenic. It's being bipolar. It's being depressed. And depression has many faces. You could look at someone, they're smiling in your face, and not even know what's going on inside, not know what's going on in their head. Like, when you look at some of these Hollywood elites who have taken their own lives, for example, Regina King's son, your mom is an Oscar winner and a brilliant director, actress, and you're following in her footsteps doing, creative things on your own, in your own right. He seems to be fine in his Instagram posts. He seems to be fine in his social media. And then next thing you know, you hear this young man has taken his own life. And it leaves so many questions as to why. Or the, Miss Universe who took her own life, jumped out of a window. And it wasn't one, but two of them took their own lives by jumping out of a window. Right. So there is an underlying problem with that. And my thing is, if you feel that something is off, that something's not right, there's no shame in getting help. There's no shame in, letting someone know, because no one can help you if they don't know. Even if it's a family member, somebody you trust, seek help. The suicide rates have increased, and they're blaming that on mental illness. Being bullied is also another form, that makes people just give up. So, and they always blame, they were just unstable. They were mentally ill. They couldn't hack it. They couldn't handle it. But when you don't know what's going on, you can't help someone. And that's
but you know what?
I think. Well, you know what I think? I think people that are actually diagnosed is one thing, because there are people who historically or, generationally have been diagnosed as having a particular type of, and I don't know that it's all blanketed under mental illness or not. I can always ask friends of mine that are professionals in this area, but I will say you're right. So often everything just gets thrown up under that umbrella when a lot of times it's just an excuse to do certain things out of pocket. But mentioning Regina King's son, I do think she had him diagnosed. I do think she knew all along that it was very, very much a situation where he was on the edge. And that's why it was heartbreaking, because I don't think she was surprised. Like, people that are really, really, quote unquote, mentally ill or dangerous or planning suicide or things like that, they don't talk about it. There's a cry for help, and then there's attention seeking. But the people that really intend to commit crimes or to do things to themselves, to do harm, they do not talk about it. They just do it. And I think that's a very real difference between someone who's going, hey, look over here, I'm crazy. No, you're not. Crazy people don't know they're crazy. And so you do have a lot of people that know, okay, this is the new, battle cry out there now. You cry mental illness and you get a pass. Yes, there is a lot of it, but I think so many things, there's so many subcategories in terms of that. I mean, again, I'm not the professional here, but I do know them. And so I like having these conversations because it does unpack a lot of things. CB was right talking about the generational part of it. That's how we were raised. You don't take your dirty laundry and air it. I think now it's becoming so commonplace for people just to tell everything now. That didn't used to happen. But see, anything that'll get you a like or a follow or a quote unquote friend on social media, people just throw it out there. And I think it's helpful in the sense that things are being spotted earlier, but I also think it's pretty trashy in terms of the damage that can be done by airing unnecessary things, not something like a mental illness, but just unnecessary stuff. So it's a double-edged sword, in my opinion.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. It's cool because things that should be seen can be instantly seen. But then we as people have taken it to a whole level beyond that level, and they're just putting everything out there. And I mean, people are putting anything up just to get this button right here. Anything. They don't care they don't care what it is. What it is, they're gonna put it out there, no matter who it's gonna damage or how it might even damage themselves. And that's just what I call social media reckless.
Oh shit! Okay. I think for the most part, there's a lot of peer pressure too, especially when it comes to the kids of a lot of these stars and artists and musicians, especially musicians from our old school folks. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, kids, y'all ain't gonna be out here acting up. If you got something going on, you hold on to that, because I don't want the media this and I don't want that and I don't want it coming back on me. And then, these kids now have to hush and live with whatever it is that they're living with. The bullshit from the parents, from their friends, from school, from the media, and now they're internalizing all these different things. Like, I did not see this coming from Regina King's, what's her name? Oh my God, my girl. King.
Yeah,
Regina King.
I got
it. Okay, her, so I didn't see that happening with her son at all. Like, when I said that was so you had never heard anything coming from that side, and all of a sudden, boom, something like that happened. It's like, okay, what really?
But see, I feel like she wasn't surprised. See, we didn't know because she kept it in the family. But as heartbroken as she was, I don't think she was surprised, because I listened to she spoke, and I read some of her commentary, and you could tell that she spent his entire life trying to edify him, trying to validate him, trying to make sure that he knew he was enough. And that's the real difference between people who are attention seeking and people who legitimately cannot shake these demons internally, is because no matter what she did for him or to him or gave him or did or with him, wasn't enough. And I know that's heartbreaking, but I also think that when it happened, she wasn't as surprised as she was heartbroken, because it was one of those, you cannot save people that are determined to hurt themselves and take themselves out. So that's why I feel so bad for her. And I was already a huge fan, but the fact that she's standing so tall in the face of all this, I mean, she's clearly already the pinnacle of what to do and who to be. So, big ups and love to her. But let's take this gentleman, Frank James. subway shooter. See, they're going to claim mental illness. I don't think he had it at all. I think he was a pissed off, angry old nigga who's mad at the world for what didn't happen to him. And he spoke too much on it. And that's not a sign of the so-called disturbed. That's a sign of somebody who's insecure, not getting enough attention.
I feel some kind of way about that one. I'm gonna need somebody to send this man a letter and inform him and let him know that he screwed up. Not so much as he screwed up with what he did, but that's not a black folks crime. Black people don't do that shit.
You already know. Listen, the last time we had something like this was the DMV snipers.
Right,
now,
exactly.
We forgot about it. Now black folks are like, damn.
We got enough problems. We don't need this extra. I guess they got one. That's one for the decade. I guess we get one per decade. So that's our one for the decade.
And you know what? I want to get back to that here in a little bit. And once we get into sports and all that, I'll tie it in. I know this sounds crazy, but I will, just because it kind of follows this particular flow. But like I said, we can definitely do our thing because he's an interesting thing. I definitely, like I said, feel like there's more to it. Obviously we'll find out as everything unfolds. We're going to find out. So it is what it is. But it's prevalent. It's very prevalent. But I think some people are taking advantage of it. To me, crying mental illness is like me starting to GoFundMe page for somebody else that got killed because I know that I'll have enough believers who will send me money before I finally get found out. You know what I mean? People are taking advantage of an unfortunate situation. And I think, if mental illness had a face, this is what it would look like. People just taking advantage of it. It is out there. It's real. And I'm glad we can diagnose it.
I think he was nutty as a fruitcake. Anybody that opens fire and just kills people for no reason is out of their freaking mind.
My first question is, where did he get the smoke bomb?
Change my mind.
That should have been the first clue. Where did he get the smoke bomb? That should have been somebody's first clue. Because you can't just run down to 7-Eleven and grab a smoke bomb. Yeah, I want a large Coke. Give me a pack of Newport menthols and give me a couple of them smoke bombs over there.
That's some video game shit. That's when they sell them. Usually.
He had a smoke grenade. He had a smoke grenade. There wasn't no little smoke bomb that you use on the 4th of July. He had a smoke grenade.
He had the good ones. I don't know.
He had access to some military stuff.
He had the canisters the police use. The man came in with a gas mask.
On the market that cannot be gotten. There is nothing out there that cannot be gotten.
Agreed.
Again, military, somebody in the military.
But guess what? There's always a trail as well. Even on the dark web.
The dark web.
There's always a trail.
You can get whatever you want. Guns, whatever. You can get whatever you want. Guns, ammo, weapons, whatever.
Well, I'll have to look them up and see if I can. I'm gonna have to look them up and see how much I can get a bag full of $500 bills for.
I got $300 bills. I'll sell you. I got a bunch of them. Oh jeez. Smoke grenades and $300 bills, George. What are you plotting, dog? What's really going on?
Right, he got that club over there.
Sabini, what's on the drink list today?
What you mixing, Mama?
Watermelon margarita.
Woohoo!
I'm back to my can. And
I have watermelon Moscato.
What? CB got the bottle cracking?
That's a damn shame. We are that excited about her alcoholism. That's a damn shame. But congrats.
Look, I wasn't gonna put the can in my mouth. Y'all know I don't even play like that. I do the big one right here. I like that.
If you hadn't shown us a can, we wouldn't have known. You could have been like, I mixed it on up.
Shit. I did mix it up. I put some coconut rum in it. Shot to the team.
Got the
there you go.
Peach ball cracking.
Hello.
You know, this is you know, this is the first drink I've had since I got back from the boat.
You had to detox
yourself on that damn boat. What did you drink on the boat? You don't ever need to drink again in life.
Hey.
Thank you, George. I appreciate that, George. Thank you, George.
You just told all your business out on the street.
Hey. You could not find my hand without a Mai Tai. I had a Mai Tai 24/7.
You're not lying.
I had a Mai Tai in my hand. I had a Mai Tai in my pocket. Because I give you this cup.
I'm going to tell you something.
When you got the drink special.
We were on that show. Let me say something, George. We were on the show, and this mug was going from bar to bar, refilling my time.
My dog. That's how you do it.
Yes, sir.
His cup was not empty not one time.
Yes,
and
sir.
when it was, it's because he was on his way to the next bar.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, look, it was all right. It was all right.
Hey, what's crazy with that drink package? You know, they give you a mug that you can use to fill up for Coke or water or juice or whatever. So I would put a Mai Tai in my mug and put it in my pocket and then order a Mai Tai. So I had a Mai Tai and one in my pocket the whole time.
Boy, if I wasn't so proud of you, I think you needed a 12-step program, but I ain't proud of you. Carry on. I would think you needed an intervention, my friend, but I know better.
That thing needs something.
That's cool.
And then
that is cool.
As it got later in the cruise, I started ordering my Mai Tai and having them floated with a shot of Gentleman Jack.
Yeah.
I was killing it.
That's why you needed to detox since you got back. If you talk about this is the first time that I drank, it's only been like 2 days. So
you had to sweat it out, baby. That is true. It's been like, what, 72 hours?
Not even that. Maybe 40.
And he was drinking the night before.
Right.
Shoot, what you mean? I got a drink on the way off the boat.
Oh my
God. Mad at you. Who's not mad at you is this guy.
For real. That's what's up though.
Love it.
But yeah, guys.
Well, good.
So that's what I was drinking, and then you had the margarita. What is it that you're drinking over there, CB?
Watermelon Moscato.
Moscato. And what are you drinking right now?
And mango margarita.
Well, I have to get up early and hit the highway in the morning, so I have to keep it fairly clean. So I'm just going Grey Goose neat.
Okay, that's what's up. What it is you got over there, George?
That's that.
Everything.
Peach Perry Mason.
Okay.
The Peach Perry Mason.
All right.
He got the.
Everybody's doing some kind of something. Coconut, watermelon, peach. Okay.
That'll cause you to commit a felony, George. Good night.
Well, thank God we're not that weak.
Nah. So, yeah. Well, good. Congrats, everybody. I'm glad. See, that's a good even number of drinkers. You know, I feel I can't do it for you. We are horrible. You know how terrible we are. We're just influencing, advocating, and pushing alcoholism. You're welcome.
Hey, Trey. Trey is in the building. Boy, George.
What's up, man?
Cole on Vigo says, "Hey, TV, how are you?" I'm doing great, Cole. How are you? We're back
Hey, Cole.
from the
Right. What's up,
Caribbean.
girl?
So, the Cole says,
Yes,
what's up,
sir.
everybody?
What up?
What's up, Cole? Holy Cole. Does he do the ooh, 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 ah, 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 ah?
You know what?
I love it.
Our trip was great, Cole. It was amazing. It was tranquil. It was peaceful. The water was so blue, and I loved my room. I had like the best view, and it was amazing. Will I ever go on a cruise again? No, but it was amazing. It really was.
Oh no! Don't say stuff like that loud.
Why not? Why not? Tell the people. I'll be right back, folks. That's funny. I can hear you, though. I can hear you.
Yeah, but you can't say stuff like that, CB. We got one next year. You know, you just gotta suck it up. It's gonna be better. I'm gonna be there. You're not gonna be by yourself. You know, you're just probably out there counting waves. It's okay. It's therapeutic. You needed that, so
it was very therapeutic. I mean, for me, just watching the waves and just, it's always good to get away. So it was a much needed, getaway.
Yeah. Okay.
Cole said, that's awesome. Y'all deserve it. You look like you had a great time.
Oh,
yes.
Cole.
We had an amazing time, Cole. He said his turn now. Yeah, if you get the opportunity, go for it. Everyone should experience it at least once.
Tell Cole he needs to go with us next year.
Good answer. We got to get like a group thing in order.
Send me a postcard. Right. He said exactly. He said he's down.
Well, a lot of people say that down, Cole, but we're from Missouri, and it's called the Show Me State. So love you, brother, mean it, but talk is cheap, homie. Ooh, challenge. Ooh,
you've been challenged. It's a challenge.
It's a whole challenge.
Right, challenging you to come with them next year.
She gonna change it.
She said, "Come with them." Right, come with them.
Hey,
that's how you feel.
Mimi was in the booth running the boards, and Roger was in the air. CB will be in the booth next year, but trust me, it'll be different. It's gonna be that much more gooder. Don't worry about it.
As long as I'm getting a stateroom again, if I go, I'm definitely getting another stateroom with a beautiful view. That was priceless. To have that, man.
I think since I kind of messed my own trip up, I'm gonna have to get one with a pole in it. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
All right, Roger Cole says that he is definitely about it. He accepts your challenge.
Uh-oh.
That's my man. I appreciate that. Okay. I appreciate you, brother. Like I said, I will not leave you hanging.
You wanted to go on one for a while. Well, Cole, you'll get your opportunity. We'll be releasing the information for it, and then you can start preparing for it, because it takes a whole year to get ready. So it'll be fun.
It just takes preparation, Cole. It just takes preparation. Hey, but cool, brother. We look forward to it. We look forward to it. So that's
moving right along.
You got a whole year. Yep.
So Roger, what's up with sports? I know that we lost a sportsman, Dwayne Haskins of the Pittsburgh Steelers, unfortunately. Lost his life. He was hit by a truck, from my understanding. And really the only reason that he was at camp was because, Roger Cole said 100%. So he's down.
Right on. Right on.
All right. So his wife had attacked him. He had just gotten married. and his wife had attacked him. And so he went away to the training camp just to get away from her. So can you imagine how she must be feeling right now, realizing that the only reason he was there was because of what happened between them? That's got to be devastating.
So once again, there's going to be more that's going to come out, I'm sure. I still can't understand anybody walking down a highway alone for no reason at night. I don't care how mad you are. You know how many damn streets there are to walk on? Hell, walk through somebody's yard. I don't care. Now, this is a case when I go, there's something deeper. So once again, this is that fence that we've been straddling with mental illness. I think the pressure that just comes with being a celebrity, a high-profile athlete, someone who has to be on all the time and perform all the time, I do think it takes its toll. So this may not be something in the form of generational, but I do think it can take its toll. There's so many instances that I've seen this week, and I felt like I had to kind of tie them all together. And is it coincidental that I'm speaking predominantly about Black men? No, it's not, because unfortunately, we're such a hugely underrepresented group when it comes to seeking help and things like that. I mean, there's still such an age-old belief that, you know, we can tolerate more pain. We don't feel certain things. We're just basically almost not human. And that's not a good thing. You know, you hear people, oh, he's a beast, he's a monster. But when I'm talking about just being like a human, we sometimes get overlooked oftentimes. You go, you know, animal, mythological figure, so-and-so, Black athlete, Black male, Black whatever. And so I'm thinking, regardless of whether or not he and his wife got into it, that still doesn't explain why the man was walking down the highway alone. And then there's something else that was just brought to my attention. There's been a lot of studies being done by athletes with the whole concussion study. Now, I don't know in terms of his career how many concussions he's had, how often he's been hit, and things like that. But let's look at Junior Seau. Let's look, you know, who was a very, very high-profile case. Aaron Hernandez. These are probably two of the highest-profile cases of people that took horrible veers and left turns after their career and even before, based on the collisions and the contact. Now, a quarterback gets his bell rung quite often. I think, unfortunately, a lot of that goes overlooked because there's a certain number that you can sustain before you are ruled unable to play. Well, I'm not going to risk these millions, so we're going to glaze over it. And it does happen. Again, I don't know that about him. I'm sure it will come out. But, you know, honestly, I feel horrible. This is a young man, 24 years old. So yeah, I'm just saying there's a whole lot of shit that he could have done to blow off steam. You don't have to go to training camp to blow off steam. I'm sorry. There's a lot of ways to do it. And I'm not really trying to make light of it. I'm just saying.
Maybe he just wanted to hit something. I mean, that's what you do in football. You hit stuff.
Quarterbacks don't hit shit, but receivers on routes. No, ma'am. No. Quarterbacks don't hit shit. They throw the ball and they don't get hit. But I agree that he could have needed something to take his mind off of it. I'm just honestly saying that if his head wasn't where it needed to be, then that would explain why. Because let's look at the young lady from what was the group 702 Black, who also Natavia Roberts or whatever her name was.
Latina.
Forgive me. Latina. There you go. She got hit on the. You know, I lost a friend who was hit on the highway and killed. You know what he was doing? He had to walk to get gas because nobody would stop and pick him up. He wasn't deranged. He wasn't anything. He was out of gas. I lost a friend like that. So anytime I hear about that, it eerily rings true. I don't care what your reason is. It's tough to walk on the highway alone. You know, I've had to do it, and it's scary as shit if you don't have a guardrail. It really, really is. So it's just a case of, you know, another really bright light snuffed out. And while we're talking about that, unfortunately, there have been a lot of crazy comments made. I don't know what this young man's past was. I can't pretend that I followed him. I saw his stats and things from college. He was the real deal. He was trying to do whatever. I don't know if he had a troubled past. I don't know his story, but I do know that when you hear about things like this, sometimes people take the opportunity to make commentary they know they can't take back, yet put it out there anyway to create issues. So, you know, I don't know his story, but like I said, there's been some like former owners and high profile individuals that have made some negative comments and printed some negative things about this young man. I don't know what he did, but aside from maybe, doing something to them personally, what would make you go that route? Because I guarantee you, if that was Tom Brady, all you would have seen was halos on every newspaper. So it's one of those, the pen can be mightier than the sword based on who's wielding it. Yeah, it's terrible. So I just want people to just give the family a chance to grieve, et cetera, because I don't care if he stole now and later or if he stole a damn car. He didn't deserve what happened to him because he was a bright. Yeah. Wow. Before I forget, I'm on sports really quickly. I don't know if you guys follow track and field kind of the way I do. I'm a huge track aficionado and I'm a huge fan. There's a young lady out there named Abby. I think Abby Schneider's her name, I think. Mm-hmm. And I don't. And here's the thing. I'm not being funny, but she's a pale face. At least from what I see, with a name like Abby Schneider. That's what she looks like to me on video.
You talking about the 100-yard dash? That 100-yard dash? That 100-yard dash?
No, she can.
Man. She was the last one out the blocks. The last one out the blocks. Right. And she beat everybody by at least 3 people. Beat everybody by at least 3 people.
That's reminiscent. That's reminiscent of Carl Lewis. That's why I was saying to you, I'm like, either she's the female Carl Lewis or something fishy there, because her catch up and walk away speed, I haven't seen it since Carl Lewis, since King Carl. I haven't seen it. Just the way that she gets blown out the block.
It wasn't even.
If you can find it over break, find that video.
It wasn't even catch up speed. It wasn't no catch up and walk away. It was just go. She was the last person out the blocks. But when she came up, out of them,
she didn't have any first gear.
She just went. It was just gone. Yeah. It was just gone. She just walked everybody down.
I got to give a shout out to this young lady because she can skate. And it's weird, and I'll tell you why. Because as a competitor and a coach and all that, her some of her technique and form is bad. But then you look at like Michael Johnson and people like that. It's really weird. Like it's an anomaly that you can have someone be kind of as stiff in the arm as she is, and I'm not saying bad in the sense that she sucked. I'm just saying it's not what will be normally taught, but that's her natural gait and her natural turnover. And when this girl gets to going, it's a problem. It's just so weird to see. I thought it was kind of funny and refreshing because you can see all the sisters, even in a race from far away, you can see their whites of their eyes going, oh, hell no. And she's sliding by them. And there's nothing they can do about it.
Hey, look. She smoked them like me, like it looked like me racing a 2-year-old.
And I think she's a reigning champion. I think she's a reigning national champion too. Don't know where she came from. I don't know her history. I'm going to have to study and look her up because she definitely just jumped on the radar, to a lot of people's radar by doing that because she was doing well indoor. But the 100 is her specialty. And listen, to run a 10.9 as a woman, it's just you guys have to understand just how fast that really, really is. 10.9 is fast for anybody, any male. It's just not elite because of what we're used to seeing. But to take that, put it like this, Marion Jones was running 10.9s for a while. There are other ladies that run them now, some Shelly Ann and some of those ladies, but how often do you hear about that? You don't. That's still a very, very tough milestone to reach. A 10.9 for a woman is pretty much like a 9.9 for a man. You just don't hear about it. You hear 10 flat, 10.2.
The 9.8,
9.9, that is otherworldly.
The last woman that I seen that was that fast, and this is no lie, this is truthful. The last woman I seen that it was that fast was our cousin Tracy. When she ran track in high school, she went to state and won state in Kansas. The time that she won state with, not only did it set a record, but the year she did that was also Olympic year, and her time would have taken second place in the men's 100 dash at the Olympics. And she was a senior in high school.
It's not the norm. Let's put it like that. It's definitely not the norm. So I just want to give her her roses give her her flowers because look at her, Abby, look at little Abby, Abigail, girl, you made it onto my my top list today, girl. You better ask somebody. Abby made it because my eyes were like, I was like, hello. So I had to shout her out, like I said, since we're talking about, some good stuff out there. I know people are like, you never shout out certain things. Yes, I do. So Abigail, Abby Schneider, you got it, baby. There you go. Bitty Sissy Muffy Tuffy, honey. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of focus on sports today. We'll get back to fitness later. We'll get back to fitness next week, but we get into that.
Well, I got it for you right here. So we're gonna have to show. We're gonna have to show that right quick.
Show me, Abby Schneider's.
Abby was getting it.
Yeah, come on, give it to me.
Here it come.
Watch this. She about to get little.
Here she is right here. The second one from the end.
Frisco Tiger Living. Here comes the NCAA champion, Abby Schneider.
Go. Yeah,
that's
like Carl, man.
Ridiculous.
That's how Carl Lewis used to do people.
Quickly, Micaiah, Frisco Tiger Living. Frisco Tiger Living. Here comes the NCAA champion, Abby Schneider.
I don't even know what she bothered to do the lean for. The little lean you do for the rope. Try to get that extra second. She didn't even need it.
You know what is better than to have it and use it?
her second phase in that turnover is just otherworldly. Because here's the thing, she's short. Look at all of them. All of them are pretty short. The tallest girl out there was probably about 5'7"ish. So most of them are around between 5 foot, 5'3", 5'4". So if you understand how much quicker your legs have to turn over to achieve that same speed again, I get really goofy when we start talking about track. But
I would fall on my face.
A lot of people would, honestly, because your legs move so fast, your body can't keep up. I think about that like with Maurice. When Maurice used to run, Maurice is tiny. Maurice is like 5'7". So the way his legs would be a blur in order for him to keep up with taller people, but they just roll. So I think that's even more phenomenal when like shorter athletes who are, historically better sprinters, at least in the short sprints, when they can sustain that and keep going, I have to take my hat off to that. That's crazy running. I mean, especially for her to come get blasted. I mean, she looks like a female Carl. Carl used to get blown out of the blocks at 60 meters. Mm-hmm. And that's literally what she did. If she could have coordinated putting up two fingers and do, she should have.
No.
She got little. So good job, sweetheart. Good job. She got gone.
I'm glad she did. I'm glad she didn't do that because she would have picked up a lot of heat for that. It would have been like, that's a black thing. Let's get that.
Yeah, but guess what? Tyreek did it in the football game, and everybody was like, oh, So I'm not going to be have a double standard and be a hypocrite. Right. I mean, she might have got jumped, but she could outrun him. So yeah. That's pretty funny. If I can throw one more thing out before we get going too far, and I know you guys saw it. We might as well throw it out there. Okay, let's look at. So I'm just looking at what is going on with my brothers, and Tichina Arnold had made a post today saying something to the effect of what can we do as women or as black women or whatever to stop aiding in the emasculation of black men. Now, that's one side of the coin I'm going to throw out there. But the other side of the coin is, and I'm sorry I got to use this term, it's a lot of coons out there. And to all my old school heads, y'all know what a coon is. If your friends don't explain it to them, it's a lot of brothers cooning it up. So with that said, this young brother, and I'm gonna call him that. And sorry, people, I use the term loosely. This brother Toby, who was stabbed by his white girlfriend, along with Frank James and some other people. So the problem is these guys are actively bashing sisters, women of color, black women, all these things, saying all this horrible stuff. Now, I'm not saying, before anybody gets mad, which I don't give a shit, but I'm not saying he deserved to die. I am saying it's pretty fucking funny that the white woman he praised, who went on TV and said all she dates is rich black men, was the one that killed his ass. Now, that being said, nobody should lose a child. But I'm sorry, there won't be a lot of flowers being sent. So when his brother, and I'm sorry for his brother because he's got to live with this, when his brother went out there and was like, hey, man, can you guys, take it easy or do whatever they're asking for help or, trying to find, like, when you lose a sister, dog, you just lost the most loyal creature on the planet. And I only say that because as a brother who happens to be partial, black women and women of color have been through hell. We constantly get put through things and put them through things and they stand strong. Broad shoulders, back, sexy arms, and all. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. So when a sister turns her back and goes, no, you burn this bridge, that's a problem. So now the backlash is coming from all of these women who are going, do you see it? I don't care that he was in high school. Listen, my kid is 24. But if I go back and find a post when he was 17 and says something like that, I may slap him in the mouth right now just because, you can't ever do that. Dude, your mother's black. I don't care if you prefer something, but you cannot ever trash what you came from. Your mother was black. Your grandmother was black. All these things. This gentleman was of African descent. That's when you want to look at him and go, nigga, please. But that being said, I still don't think he deserved what he got, but I don't think anybody's heart is broken because of the thing. See, the internet is forever, people. So while we're out there trying to gain fame and call ourselves influencer, it's Trent. An influencer, but again, that's a title now. It's an occupation. It's it is what it is. And so, even on the video, I can't think of the radio show, but the gentlemen were saying they were saying, hey, you're toxic, right? She was kind of like, yeah, what's your point? So no shame, nothing. And she was out at a club in Miami, not even a week after she was found covered in blood, talking to the damn dog after she just stabbed this dude. So my thought on that is, once again, do you want to? I don't call that kind of thing mental illness. And I put Frank James in this same category. I call this a black man who has gone through so much rejection, who has encountered whatever he did not like, or who has seen something on the other side of the fence that maybe he thought was better, and then decided to disown, discredit, and disclaim his own. And I'm sorry, but sometimes it's kind of like, you literally. It's like chickens coming home to roost when something like that happens. And so while I'm on this and pissing people off, I also think the reason that they took Frank James alive was because a certain demographic of people were glad that he did their dirty work for them, because they paid. Trust me, they knew about his YouTube page, his channel rather. They knew about his social media pages. They listened and watched and paid attention to the rants that he made against his own people. Now, he threw everybody in there, white, black, female, Hispanic, Jews, but they also realized that this is a guy that can be utilized as a tool, and that's what he did. Think about it. A man was killed for selling cigarettes. You got a man with a bag full of smoke grenades and guns, and you take him alive? Had a little bit of help, maybe. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I 100% think that there was some knowledge. So when CB was saying earlier that you can get anything, yes, you can procure anything. Everything on this planet that goes across a computer with an IP address has a trail, even if they tell you it doesn't. Police ever tell you they can't pull text messages? Threaten one of them and see if they don't come to your house, knock on your door and go, it's 7:35. You said, oh yeah, everything has a fingerprint. I'm in IT. So that being said, it's crazy. What's up?
No, I'm gonna say this, right? And I don't know how it's gonna come out, but it's gonna come out because it's got to come out. Because I've been doing taxes for a Nigerian for 18 years. I am very, very, very close with Africans of different areas, whether it's Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, wherever. Just I know many, 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 many different villages. I know, I get it. this child must have had to been in a position where he had probably been rebelling against his culture. It's like something happened. This doesn't just happen. You don't find too many Africans, you know what I'm saying? First of all, you don't find a lot of Africans playing sports. That's one. You can actually really count them in two hands. How many are out there playing sports right now, especially, you know, coming out of college, whatever, or in college, or coming out of high school, or whatever you want to call it. But a lot of these kids rebel against their parents. For whatever reason, they just go off into the wilderness on the other side for whatever reason. And before you know it, shit happens where either they have to come back home with a tail between the legs. Dad, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that, all this shit. You know, so there's no telling what was happening in this boy's, like you said, in his personal life for him to have gone in the direction that he went in just because. You know what I'm saying? So it's so much stuff to it, you know?
I think it's early rejection. I do, because so the same way, you know, I know a lot of, you know, people from different Caribbean countries and Africa as well because of sports. And I used to get asked all the time in college from, you know, a lot of the girls. They'd be like, Hawkins, why do our men come over here and go to that? And I explained that oftentimes if you don't come from money, which a lot of them don't, which is why they have soccer scholarships, track scholarships, etc., then you have to go where you can, you know, level up a little bit. And as we know, most of us don't come from that kind of back with that affluency, and so since we're not like that, they're going to go where someone's going to be more generous. Here, let me buy this, let me do that. It doesn't mean that there's any loss of loyalty to their respective women. It just means I'm going to go play over here for a little bit. This gentleman was on a whole different level of hatred for what he was and where he had come from, and that's why I'm like, you know, and I don't know what he maybe he had an accent that he was ridiculed for. Maybe it was because he was very, very dark. Maybe it was all of these things, because we've all seen it happen. Even there's prejudice even within our own people. We know that you go from light, bright, and damn near white all the way to blurple. And we know that. And you know, whatever part of that spectrum you fall into, you probably had to deal with something coming up. So imagine coming from a different country, just all kinds of things. So I agree, there probably was something that happened, but something that hit the switch and made him develop this level of hatred and disdain for his own people. That was incredibly poisonous and toxic and things to be around. And for this switch to be who she was and just arrogant about it. So it's one of those. It's beyond me, but I don't think that there's going to be much sympathy. But guess what? She'll keep on living her life. You want to know why? Because she's heard. And now that there's no such thing as bad publicity to an attention whore or just a whore. So she is going to keep living her life. This young man doesn't have his brother anymore. Mother doesn't have her son. And this kind of thing is probably more prevalent than we know. But see, if that had been the other way around, remember the little chick, what was her name, Gabby or whatever? Could you imagine if that boyfriend had a look like me? They'd have moved every house related to me in family, but it's the opposite around. It just is what it is. So I look at that and I shake my head. As a warning, I'm not saying don't love who you love and things like that, but this has nothing to do with really what someone looks like. It has to do with what's in here. And that chick was rotten from the inside out, but apparently she made him feel like a king, because she said she liked to be submissive in the bedroom, but she did not want to be told what to do anywhere else in her life. So, I think culturally, he probably fell for the okie doke because he didn't know it was all right because it was all white. You couldn't approach me with some crazy shit like that and think that I would be, remotely okay.
All right. It is time to pay the bill. So we will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Let's do it.
We got bills.
everybody. It's me, CB. Join us every Wednesday for your Midweek Motivator, offering you conversation, motivation, music, laughter, and a whole lot of fun. So tune in. Let's talk. Join us as we shake things up and talk things out. CB and the boys. Join us for your Midweek Motivation. See ya.
All right, and we are back. If you're just tuning in, you are listening and watching CB and the boys. And don't forget to like us and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to give us that thumbs up on Facebook. And if you're watching us on Instagram and Twitter, like us and subscribe. So, everybody, welcome back. Our topic tonight is ghetto, refined versus unrefined. And what prompted this, you may ask? So, we were traveling this past weekend, and I saw a lot of things. And when you're sitting in the airport for 12 hours, you see a lot of things. You get annoyed very easily, very quickly, but with good reason. So my question is that I'm posing to people, and especially my ladies, when did we stop caring? When did we decide that throwing our bonnet and some house shoes and shuffling through an airport was okay? There was a time when you traveled, you would put on your best. You would want to look your best. And yeah, it's okay to be comfortable. I know the importance of comfort when you travel. But you can travel in comfort and be cute. You can wear sweats, very cute. You can wear leggings, very cute outfits. But house shoes were meant to be just that, house shoes. Not airport shoes, not mall shoes, or neighborhood shoes. If you want to wear your house shoes to your mailbox, that's okay. You want to walk around your block in your house shoes, that's cool. That's on you. But to enter into a public domain with people from all walks of life, you never know who you're standing next to. You never know who you're going to see. So when did we stop caring about our appearance? When did this become a thing where we don't take pride in ourselves anymore? Because I'm telling you, a bonnet is not cute. Baseball hat, cute. Bonnet, not cute. Rat cap, not cute.
What's a
Those
rat
are things
cap?
that are meant to be done in the privacy of your own home.
What's a rat cap? I'm sorry, I don't know what that
Is that
is.
a do-rag? You talking about do-rag?
A do-rag.
Oh, a do-rag?
Yeah, a do-rag.
Well, guys wear do-rags under their baseball hats or whatever, their little caps or whatever.
They do,
No.
but it's
Okay, you know what? That's really for like the younger boys, like, even like rap artists. They're going through the airport, they get, they're about to go to a concert, whatever, they keep their little rag on underneath their thing. That's one thing. But specifically females with the little bonnet and the pajama pants with the puffy bedroom shoes walking through an airport. It became a style, and that's the thing that Monique had gotten herself in hot water for about.
Yeah,
the whole thing with the bonnet, this and that, and all this good old stuff.
Right. And while I was in the airport, I understood where she was coming from. I really did, because that's not cute. And then, to let your kids just run around and do whatever they feel like it. And this isn't just, excluded just for, for Black women, but, white women let their kids run around too. And the thing is, in this day and age, you have to be careful. You'll turn around and your kid will be gone. It has happened numerous times.
Thing is,
And
it's not
there's
even
a little
sanitary
kid.
though. Can you imagine going to the bathroom at the airport with your bedroom puffy shoes? Like,
and then go back home with all those diseases.
Or you're wearing, you're wearing your pajama pants, and you got to pull it down, to a certain length to be able to open your legs wide enough for you not to wet anything else, because you got to crop over this toilet. Like, look, yeah.
I'm sorry I don't have that problem, but I feel you.
I mean,
yeah, Trey, I get it. Do-rag back in the day, that there was a pass for that. But we're talking about in this time.
Right. So when did you grow up? When did you grow up?
Right. So, exactly. When did it happen? When you reached your 20s, your 30s, or your 40s?
Right. Well, the definition of ghetto means a crowded, poor part of a city lived in by a specific ethnic group. So when you think of ghetto, and we use the term very openly these days, like, oh, that's ghetto. Oh my God, how ghetto. Well, I think, in my opinion, that ghetto it's a state of being. It doesn't define where you come from, because there are many people who grew up in poverty. There are many people that grew up in areas that would be considered ghetto areas. But that doesn't mean that defines who you are. A good example, President Barack Obama. He came from the
Trey,
South
it doesn't apply to you, Trey.
Chicago.
It doesn't apply to you. Trey said he stopped after high school. It doesn't apply to you, bro.
Hey, all I said was good man. Good man.
When you're a child, you do childish things. When you become an adult, you put away those childish things because you want to put your best foot forward. If you were going for this multi-million-dollar company to be an employee, to say, for example, be an engineer, and you walk in with a do-rag, do you honestly believe in your heart of hearts that you'll walk out with a job? No.
I'm gonna tell you something. Some of these kids, because they're clueless, they really honestly believe that they
believe
would.
It. They believe
because
it.
They're not looking. Yes, they believe. They believe that they could go up in there and get this job with the do-rag on, because they're not looking at themselves in the mirror. All they're thinking about is the experience that they might have.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just it. That's the problem.
What are y'all talking about
like,
there?
It's like, if you don't know, you don't know.
George is commenting on Trey. Because Trey, our brother Trey is commenting in, and George is responding back. George is an asshole. That's
Where's the picture? Where's the picture? I got a
get the
picture of a car wash with a do-rag. Throw that shit up.
But here's the thing. To further that point, we've talked about it before. I know I've definitely gone on my tirade about, I'm in the airport all the time. So the bonnets and the fuzzy slippers, which I love because they put like little heels on the back, like elastic heels, to make it look like an official shoe. That's bullshit. But people like to scream, I want to be comfortable and things like that. But to me, it just shows that you don't have enough self-respect. Listen, they say beauty is pain, right? So we can say beauty is pain. You don't have to be in pain, but you can also say, you know what? Class can be a little bit discomfort. It can be a little bit of discomfort. I mean, you have to step above. Just because it's the norm and everybody else is doing it doesn't mean you have to follow suit. What'd your mom always tell you? If everybody else jumped off a damn bridge, would you follow? Now the problem is a lot of these idiots would, but unfortunately,
because they're sheep. Because they're sheep.
Well, yeah, exactly.
When you're the world, you don't go against the grain. You follow the herd, and if the herd is going over the edge, then you're going to follow behind the herd. But the thing is, you have to, and then that's the part that you nailed. They don't have enough self-respect. And my thing is, it all starts with loving yourself. Loving yourself enough to want to present the best you that you can. When you walk out in public, you're not just a reflection of yourself, you're a reflection of your parents, You're a reflection of your family.
I agree.
You know, and
I
you
agree.
never know who you're going to see. And a good example, every time you go to the grocery store or Walmart for that matter, you always see somebody you know. Always.
You can't see any damn way you do.
You know. And if they don't look right, the first thing in your mind is like, man, they look a hot ass mess.
But,
you know?
I don't know.
And that's true.
The circle of influence has changed. Your circle of influence used to be the people that came over to your house, that you used to see. Now your circle of influence is thousands of people you don't even know, just because they like something you put up, and now you're quote unquote friends. And these people are giving false confidence out to each other. Everybody's patting each other on the ass, and nobody is paid any dues. And if one person goes, I don't care, I'll do it, they are seen as a trailblazer because, they didn't care. And so to not care about appearance, perception, things like that turns into the rule instead of the exception. And it's a trickle down. It's a complete trickle down. I agree that the problem is, okay, my question to you guys is, it's rhetorical because I know we're going to say some of the same things, but where does it start and how can it be rectified? Obviously, I'm going to say it starts at home because that's where everything starts. Self-respect, how to carry yourself. If you see your mother or your older sister or whoever's your influence or father or brother walk out of the house looking crazy, look, if my son who's 24 sees me walking out of the house all the time wearing a do-rag and my pants sagging and my old ass age, look, I'm gonna tell you, gentlemen out there, if you're listening, I don't care how neat it is, unless you're walking the runway, if you got a bunch of gray hair, you got cornrows, you need to sit your stupid ass down and get a haircut and take that off. Now, if you'd like to discuss this further, we can, because I think you're fucking farted. That's stupid. Like, why would you be 56 years old sagging with a dude where look, I don't care if you did time. I don't care
First of
what your
all,
occupation is.
First of all, why would you be sagging, period? I don't care if you're 56 or 26 or 16. Why would you be? First of all, what if you was on that train? You can't even run.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And where did it come from? It came from homosexuals in prison. Wore their pants like that for quick access.
But you know what? That doesn't work on the youngsters anymore because they all know that story now. It's like it used to work because guys be like, what? And then they like, I'm not doing it. Well, guess what? Even that has lost its luster because
that means they got homosexual tendencies.
No, it just means somebody glorified it, and whoever was cooler than you and had more money than you told them it was okay. And because unfortunately, most of our heroes in our community either dribble a ball, run in some fashion, entertain, have a mic in their face. That's what we see. So if that's the richest person that I can, relate to, I'm going to emulate that. And it's sad but true, because nobody who's got a tie like this is telling them, until Barack came along. But it takes a lot to change people's thinking, man. It does. It takes a lot. But if you're not shown that, whether you don't have the role model or whether you choose to idolize the wrong individual, guess what? This is going to be reproduced over and over and over again. It just is. It's sad but true. How do we break that cycle?
But one can stand to reason. Where do we draw the line? What if the next trend is to not bathe? Then what? We'll have a bunch of fucking mofos walking around.
I can name several groups that do that now. I'm serious. There are groups of people that do that now. They really do. We just, okay, and I'm not being funny. I hope I'm not disrespecting anybody. If you're upset, correct me. A lot of, no, I ain't said nothing yet. I will, though. a lot of like certain types of religious sects or practices don't believe in a lot of excessive quote unquote bathing. They believe in natural and holistic ways of cleaning. Some groups, you can look at people that think Rastafarians are like that. They think the groups of hippies are like that. There are lots of different groups that don't see the need for anything artificial, be that deodorants, antiperspirants, etc., because they've been linked to certain health effects. That being said, what we in Western culture view as the norm, i.e. bathing daily, teeth brushing, et cetera, a lot of people don't, because they go, hey, what I observe and practice dictates that the human body doesn't need all of these, and it doesn't. Scientifically, biologically, it does not need to be. But please respect my 3 feet and my nostrils, and do so if you're going to come out in public. But that's what we've come to expect. So you say that, CB, but you're actually dead on. It really does happen. And we have to respect what they do. We just don't have to like it, practice it, or accept it into our world, our bubble. So that's funny you made that point. But ooh, shit.
So let's see. Trey said they have the wrong circle of friends. I guess we're talking about, the guys and, the influence of the people that are around them and the pants hanging low and all that bullshit. And I said it. Hey, I said it. Management is in the building. What's up, baby? Sponsor. You.
I say Callahan, the 12th. What's it?
The second. Hello.
So
there you go.
So in response to Crystal's question, what if they just started the next trend is not to take a bath? I'm gonna run around handing this out.
What is that? Don't put. Boy, what your mama teach you? Don't you spray anything on top of funk? Don't you put shit on top of funk except soap and water? Don't you do?
Hold on. Let me see if I can.
Don't you ever do that?
Let me see if I can get a better picture of this. Because here's what's crazy.
It's smelling like
I'm addicted to soap. Now I'm clean.
Smelling like all day long. But okay, so do you guys think your circle, like Trey said, circle of influence, basically circle of friends? I think that definitely plays a part because, listen, after kindergarten, 5 years of age, 6, whatever, believe it or not, you're not your child's chief influence anymore. You think you're not. So you've got 5 years, maybe 6 with your kid. And that's if they don't go to daycare, to really, really pour into them. Because after that, it becomes whoever their teacher is. It becomes whoever their friends and such are.
That's true.
So
That's true.
You're not. So it's difficult to pull them away from that if you're in a certain neighborhood, if you're in a certain school or whatever. It's just like getting into gangs and things like that. Safety in numbers. You don't want to go against the crowd because you don't want to feel like I've got to battle something new every day. That's really, really tough. So the question again just goes back to how do you do that? Do you keep them away from everything, or do you just have to continuously, literally pour in every night? The answer is yes. You can't just do it one time and walk away and say, don't do that, and then expect them to carry them their whole career. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I've kind of made it, known with mine as best I could anyway. And so, yeah,
kids are
my kids already know.
They soak up. They soak up so much. And just when you think they're not listening or you think they don't see, they see and they hear. And if we show them a better way and continuously and be consistent with it, because as we mentioned before, it all starts at home. If you have parents that don't give a damn, if you have a mom that walks around smelling like trash and a dad that walks around smelling like trash, then that's what you know. But when you get to school, you can be bullied for smelling like trash. It's not a good thing. And especially with the ladies.
I'm just going to run around the neighborhood handing out cans of Funk away.
Yeah, the problem is.
Especially with the ladies. It's important.
Is this some real stuff?
Yeah, they sell it at Walmart.
So many things. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, CB.
Damn can up and he just disrupted the whole damn. You have to explain this shit. This stuff is, guys, you already know I'm a little slow. This stuff exists for real?
Yeah, they sell it at Walmart.
You know, I don't know.
But stuff you can't put in the wash.
Okay.
You can buy it at your local Walmart.
There we go.
So when we get to that level, I'm gonna buy it by the case, and I'm just gonna run around the neighborhood handing it out to people. You know, come home and find it in your mailbox.
You're gonna spray aerosol. They're gonna spray bullets at your ass. Some people don't. I don't know. Some people just don't want to. Like, some people deliberately go out of their way to not give in or conform to what everybody thinks they should do. At times it can be seen as brave, and at times it can be seen as just being.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What everybody thinks they should do? Like, how take care of themselves? Because that's not what people.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. I'm going to make it easy on you, since obviously we all think the same when it comes to the whole bathing thing. We do anyway. Let's take, and this is no shade throwing, because I think she's funny. I think she's beautiful, actually. Tiffany Haddish. You know, Michael Strahan. Let's take those two. Michael's got a big gap. Tiffany's got the mole, the beauty mark, the birthmark on her face. Now, you know, had there not been a Cindy Crawford, people would be looking at her crazy, but people are still going, you know what? If you just do this, and I know I don't know her, but I can only imagine her whole career. She's like, you're going to accept me based on my talent, not what's here and what you think I should do cosmetically. Same thing with Strahan. When he got out of the NFL, everybody was like,
so what was she doing? You'll close the gap? Well, hold on. You're going fast, bro. What was Cindy Crawford doing that I don't know?
Cindy Crawford was the first model that had
the mole.
Had a facial thing. She had a mole.
Yeah.
I have that same mole.
I thought she was in bathing or something. Oh, okay.
No. What made her unique was the mole, her beauty mark. And that's when
she's beautiful still today.
She was the one that started it being called a beauty mark.
So the question is
different.
What's making people go against the grain and not do that? Oftentimes it's because they don't want to fit in with the crowd. Everybody else has this look. She chose to keep that look, even though it was acceptable. So I say that to say, when you look at people that we were talking about, sagging, bonnets, house shoes, all this shit, it just takes one person of note. And by note, I mean basically on TV or celebrity, to influence other people. Because remember, to a lot of kids, celebrities are otherworldly. They're almost celestial in the sense that that's a position that can't be achieved. So if that person's doing it, look, I'm telling you right now, love her or hate her, Rihanna or Beyonce, either one of them could come out right now wearing a pair of men's underwear with the hole cut out in the middle over them like a tank top, and I guarantee you some of these retarded ass people, and I don't mean any offense to anybody, to get over it because I've got them in my family, would be wearing that shit because they think
it was trendy.
And if you you could put rhinestones on shitty drawers, and if Kim Kardashian put them on, I guarantee you they will sell out. That's my point. CB said it earlier. Some people are just sheep. Some of us will look at that because we're older and more.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
No, we should change that to be like, if you're sensitive, don't get on this show, because I don't give a shit about your sensitivity this time of night. Love you, mean it, go to bed. But anyway, that's the problem. It's center of influence.
Right.
And it's like the whole being smart's not cool anymore right now. I mean, it is for a lot of groups, but we're talking about acceptable, cool, in vogue, things like that.
Right.
And unfortunately, there's no such thing to some people as bad publicity. So if I can act a fool and get attention, that's just as good as if I can excel and get attention. And it's kind of that similar thought process. But what do you mean? Trey got my background on film, right on. I'm just telling my truth, man. Everybody ain't gotta love it. But I think that okay. CB, it's your brainchild. Why don't you? What to you shows differences between, like you were saying, kind of, I don't know. We joke about being bougie or upper crust or ghetto or hood or whatever. Because to me, honestly, there are subtleties. It's not the overt what you wear, how you talk. Like we know about all that silly shit, talking loud, acting a fool, being confrontational. But what really determines, in your opinion, what I will call, in my definitions, classy versus not. So the ghetto, because here's the thing, you can be from the hood, you don't have to be hood. You can be from the ghetto, you don't have to be ghetto. You can be from you can be from the upper crust and still be classless. There, look at the Hiltons. One of the richest families out there. Are they classy? No. So what to you is your definition of each of those, and what makes them, how do they separate up in your head?
Well, according to the Webster's Dictionary, when you're bougie, you're aspiring to be a higher class than one is. So basically, I guess, when you want the best, when you aspire for the best, maybe when you live above your means, you could be considered to be bougie. When you want the best of everything, people will consider you to be bougie. Like, for example, my sister and I got into a fight years back over water because the twins wanted Fiji water, and I bought them Fiji, but she was upset that I spent that much money on water instead of buying the 99-cent water, which is just as good as Fiji. And I'm like, well, they wanted Fiji. And I was called bougie. I've been called bougie, and I don't care. If being called bougie means I want the best, I will settle for no less. If being called bougie means that I put my best foot forward, no matter what I do. If being bougie means, just aspiring to reach the next level and not just being satisfied with what you have, because it's human nature to want more. And I am not exempt from that. I want more. We should all want more and aspire, to do better than we're doing. Like when we have children, we want our children to do better than we did. We want them to have better opportunities than we did. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if that makes us bougie, well, I'll take it. I will be bougie. I'll be queen bougie. I don't give a shit, because I'm not going to settle for less. I shouldn't have to. I love myself too much to settle for just any old thing. And to Steve Harvey, let me say this and put this as clear as I can. There is no way that I would ever date an ugly man just because.
Man, don't make me Steve Harvey on that tip, man.
You mean again?
He's not the finest. He's not the finest glass of wine.
He knows that, but his money makes him a 10. He knows that shit. That's why he said it. Listen, I mean, with that, and listen, that's a whole. That would be a great topic about the perils and the temptations of the attractive versus the non-attractive. But here's what's funny: 90% of people who think that they're 7, 8, 9, 10 and above probably aren't, but whatever. So everybody's definition. But back to the subject, I'm gonna say two things really quickly. One, you know what I've always hated, because just based on I went to school, education. I hate the fucking term bougie. You know why I hate the term bougie? Because some goofy ass person who could not pronounce bourgeois or bourgeoisie fucking called it bougie, and everybody stuck with it. It pisses me off. I have a thing about grammar, even though I know I talk like a pirate sometimes. I am huge on grammar. That pisses me off. That being said, yes, it is a term. It has become quote unquote official, et cetera, et cetera. But what CB said was pretty close to the truth when it comes to the bourgeoisie were personnel who made up the majority of the population. Is that
the right way? Is that the right way to say the word? Is it bourgeoisie?
Yes. Bourgeois and bourgeoisie.
Sexy. Bourgeoisie. I like that even better.
The problem is, how many of these folks out here you think are taking French or Latin or anything that based on the They're just not. I mean, that's where it comes from. It's from it's a French derivative of bourgeoisie.
But the thing about it is that we have to take the time to learn these terms and say it right, so we don't sound stupid to the ones that really.
Well, we've been sounding stupid for fucking decades. People can't teach what they don't know, though, and I'm not dogging anybody. I'm not dogging anybody for not knowing. I'm just happy that I do, because it allows allows me to at least open my mouth and not sound like a complete just a little bit of one.
This is the thing, right? It's like my name being Minerva, because that's what it is. Right. It's Minerva. And then people would call and be like, is this Melvina?
But that's
Minelva. Like,
what kind of cheese is you, bro? What kind of cheese is you?
Minerva. Melvina? Minerva?
But this is because your mind, your eyes see things, your mind process things sometimes at different speeds, and people just don't take the time. How many people do not? Okay, if I was
hold on. Here's a medical fact. Here's a scientific and medical fact. Your brain, like, people will see your name. Okay, obviously not a common name. They will see that, and their brain will automatically switch the letters around to make it look like something that they recognize.
Oh,
and they'll say that, and they'll say it that way.
I've never thought of that.
No, that's a true fact. It's a true fact. You can read. There's tests out there. I wish I had one handy. I'd pull it up and show it to you. But you can write. You can write a sentence. I could write a paragraph and leave out at least 3 words, and you will read that paragraph and you'll read it like those 3 words were in there, because your brain will automatically insert those words where they're supposed to be without you even noticing it.
Right. So I have seen the sentences where all the letters in the middle are scrabbled, but the first one and the last one is the same, and it's a whole paragraph. I've been able to read that paragraph in nothing but seconds. Like, I go through it like it's nothing, and I'm like, wow, it's interesting how the brain functions.
Yeah.
But my thing is, if something is spelled a certain way, you would think that people would enunciate it just the way it is spelled. You know?
So your name, like you said earlier, the most common probably name associated closely to yours is Minerva. And after now Melvina, that's just a nigga named Melvin who wanted his daughter to have his name. But Minerva is very close. And so I can see people doing that because, like George said, they just read it and they keep going. But all of that to say, it would help if someone came and said, listen, I understand what this means. I understand why I'm acting as such, but I just want you to know I'm doing it deliberately. I don't care what it is. I could respect that. But when I know that the vast majority of people are simply parroting what they saw or heard someone else do that they perceive to be cool, it's just kind of like, no respect, because you're making a clown out of yourself on someone else's behalf. That drives me up a wall. But we have to, again, people can't practice what they don't know. And like we were saying earlier, if your parents didn't know and their parents didn't know, it's very difficult, but not impossible to break the cycle.
Right. This is the thing. If you were born in the Pork and Beans apartment in Miami, Florida, that is what you know. If you were born there and raised there, that is all you know. Anybody know where the Pork and Beans is in Miami, Florida? Those apartments, they're not there anymore. I think they have demolished them. It's always on First 48. But that's where my daughter's family's from.
That's my show.
Your daughter's family's from First 48?
No. Well, you know what? 90% of them are on First 48. But look, I can't help what happened when I was in my teens, okay? But what had happened is that her family is from Miami, Florida, and most of the family lives in Pork and Beans. They used to live there, but you cannot help what happens there. If you have looked at First 48, the majority of crime happens at the Pork and Beans apartments. So if you were born there and raised there, and that is all you know, and you never left there, then you're stuck with the mentality of Ghettoville. That's just really how it works sometimes.
So again, that's why a lot of people go to college, or they go to the military, or they go to Job Corps, because look, you learn 2 ways. You learn what to do and you learn what not to do. But either way, you can learn if you choose. It's just like people say, listen, you can go to a private school, public school, horrible school. If you've got a textbook, you can learn, but it takes a special individual to push away all the surrounding bullshit and still find that hope, that silver lining. So you're right. Most of us are products of our surroundings in some fashion. Nature versus nurture, call it what you want.
Right.
But if you don't have some type of guidance, you're a lot less likely to achieve what you want without help. Nobody can do it alone.
Yeah.
So I agree.
That's
it's not
true.
impossible. It's difficult, but not impossible.
That's
Right.
So,
that's bad.
That
You
plays
have
a
to
big
be,
You know
role.
what,
have to be
though?
open to
Let me-
growth.
Let me throw this out there. That's bad when
What's that?
you name a low poverty area. It's called pork and beans. And it has been called pork and beans for so long. You Google up pork and beans and it comes up. And then
Oh,
Yes.
shit.
it not only does it come up, but it came up on Google Maps.
This is the thing.
Google
no,
Maps.
guys. No. First of all, let me tell you guys something. First 48 refers those apartments as the pork and beans apartments. That's what they call it.
Okay, what's it really called, though?
I'm telling you, it's on the map. Look, it's on Google Maps. Let me zoom in right here.
George
Pork-
he's gabber
Pork
flashes
and
right now.
beans. It says pork and beans. It doesn't say such and such apartments. It says pork and beans.
Okay, so like Cabrini Green and all that shit, what's it really called? Like Granat, what's it really called? Mimi don't even know.
No, of course I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Wow.
I know that
I mean,
that's where the
fair
family was
enough.
from. And I was there for a little bit, but that's it. Look, I took my child out of Miami, Florida when she was 4 months old. Okay, Virgin Islands.
Hey,
like,
hey.
I was not playing that game.
She doesn't have gold teeth then, huh? She ain't got a bunch of gold.
She doesn't know. Hell nah. My child will never have that type of shit. No.
Listen, I'm being funny, but I'm being honest.
Look, I'm gonna tell you something. She doesn't know. These pork and beans projects being demolished. It's been demolished. Okay, so I think it was called Liberty Square.
We're no damn Liberty there.
Liberty Square Power History Race in Miami. Yeah, I think that's what it was called, Liberty Square Apartments.
Okay, so here's a question to y'all. We've kind of talked about the hood, the ghetto side. Do you think that buying excessive shit, spending a lot of money, do you think that then elevates you? Do you think that makes you classy? Do you think that elevates you to another level because, let's say, your paycheck changes, you've got more commas? So, in other words, if you go from ashy to classy, do you think that's a legitimate setup or situation? Like, can you do that just based on the finer things, getting better area code, drinking fucking fancy water and all that shit? Can that elevate you from where you've been to where you are? I mean,
it's not that mind though. You could be.
Go ahead.
Oh, you could be. If you're of that ghetto mentality, it doesn't matter where you are. You're just in a different area code or a different, zip code. If you still have that ghetto mentality, it doesn't mean a thing. You have to start from within. Like when I got my settlement, one of the things that I bought myself that I have always wanted was a Louis Vuitton purse. In fact, I bought several. And that was one of the best feelings in the world because it's something I've always wanted. Did it change who I am? No. Did it make me a better person? No. But it's something that I got to cross off my bucket list, so it felt good. But it didn't, define me. It doesn't make me different or anything. It's just a purse. A purse is a purse. Just like buying Jordans. They're still shoes. They're going to be on the ground. You're not going to wear them on your hands or wear them on your head to keep them preserved. They're going to be on the ground. You're going to be walking in them. It doesn't mean a thing if you don't change your thinking. Mind over matter. You have to be in the right mindset. Once you change that area code, you need to be of a different mindset. You can't think the ghetto way anymore. You need to elevate yourself, educate yourself. If you don't,
but that's not just based on money, right? It's like, in other words, you don't have to wait until you get money to do that, right?
No. In the ghetto, but if you have a different mindset, if you are satisfied with the way things are, then you're not going to take the steps to make any changes. Change begins with you. A person can drum in your head, you need to change, you need to change, you need to change. But until you come to that realization in your own mind, within your own self, it doesn't mean a damn thing. Like losing weight. Someone can say, oh, she's so pretty for a fat girl. You're too pretty to be fat. You need to lose weight. You really need to lose weight. Until that person comes to the realization that they need to make those changes. It doesn't mean
they're not going to.
Change, they're not. Change starts within. And it's mind over matter. If you change your thinking, then good things can start to happen from you. Like, instead of having a negative attitude, have a positive attitude. You have to make those changes. It doesn't have to be something big and dramatic. It can be subtle changes. But just instead of seeing the cup as being half empty, seeing it as being half full. It's just
like instead of having a poker face, then he could not have a poker face and smile. I'm just saying. Right. It could be any of us. Enjoy it. Exactly.
What I think is, I just think that, you know what, it's a lot of hood people with money. There's a lot of people that have money and they're still ghetto and hood as shit. So I think the correlation sometimes is made. I'm not saying you are. I think you're trying to make the differentiation, but unfortunately, a lot of people get money based on whatever talent they have. It doesn't necessarily bring them up a level, if you will. It just means, you know, Kanye said, and as much as I hate to quote Kanye, it's true. He said, no matter what he said, even if you get a Benz, you're still a nigga in the coop to certain people. Just because you've got an expensive car or a house or whatever, it's from within. It is a mindset. And which is why I'm saying, because you can still live in the ghetto, but you don't have to be ghetto. You can try to work it out of the situation. You can live in the hood, but you don't have to be hood. I just think that, yes, you have to take advantage of whatever opportunities you have to upgrade yourself, regardless of, you know, your financial situation. I just think, unfortunately, we correlate the two. It's not fair.
What an epiphany. Did I not just say that?
Yeah, let me ask the question. So do you think that it starts with maybe the parents at home? Like whatever is instilled in the kids? Like, look, this is where we're at, but this is not where you're going to be. This might be where I'm going to be forever, and know that you could always come back home, but this is not where you need to be.
Kids only know what they see.
Do you think that is something that needs to be
I definitely think every parent
little.
Kids only know what they see.
Every parent wants their child to do better. And so the thing is that and kind of what George is throwing out there is that you ever hear, like we call them old heads, older folks saying, hey, do better than I did, be better than I am. Yeah. Unless you can lead by example, it's an easy thing to say. It's just like if you see an old cat on the street and he's like, you're better than me, don't do this.
Some people can't, and you just look. I think it is the responsibility of oneself when they know better to do better. Like, okay, you know what? I was raised in a project. Like when I was little, like under 9 years old, we were in the project, and then my mom turned around and ended up getting a house, and then we moved into this house in this nicer neighborhood. And she still wanted more for us. Like, look, when you guys get out of here, like she literally kicked me out because I had a bad mouth.
Blog Talk Radio.
within 4 years, I had 2 kids. I was like, oh shit, hold on, I got it.
Unmuted.
So what you're saying, this is my thing. We have to lead by example. Everybody talks a good game. I don't know a parent alive who doesn't talk that bullshit to their children. Do this, be better, get your education. But like, basically what we're saying is, sorry, you ever seen people look at their parents like, really? You're telling me not to get pregnant early or not to go to jail or not to do, and you're looking at, and I'm sorry, a lot of us looked at our parents or grandparents or whatever and saw inadequacy. Now, I'm just saying we saw things that we hero worship our parents early because you're supposed to. The older you get, the more you learn, the more you realize your parents are human and imperfect. But just the whole talk of it is not enough. Like, talk is such bullshit. Don't do that. Be better than I am. So you think you're going to talk me great, even though I'm not staring at greatness. And I mean, that can be said about friends, family, whatever. I think the ones who show and prove make much more of an impact. Now, here's the thing. Everybody isn't capable of doing that. So where I'm trying to make sure that I carry on, because from a legacy standpoint, you know, if anybody knows me 5 minutes, you know that the women, my mother, my grandmother, my aunt, the women in my family have been everything to me. You know, I couldn't be walking where I'm walking without them. You know, yes, I had uncles. My father and I developed a relationship later on. It was great, but I'm talking about from the giddy up. So what you see comes from a lot of women in particular. But the point that I'm saying is things are instilled in you, whether it be going to school, hard work, honesty, not going to jail, whatever it is, but it has to be pushed and it has to be exhibited. I couldn't have listened to my folks if they were like, you can't do as I say, not as I do, basically is the most bullshit thing in the world, but it does happen. So for me, you know, I think I'm trying to show my kids that, you know what, even if you go the non-traditional route, in a lot of ways, you can still, not only can you succeed, you can excel. Because here's the thing, if you want to go by standardized testing and all this other bullshit, like I said, my kids are pretty high level, pretty high function.
See, but this is the thing though, with you, I think you are super postal. Like, you have to put your foot down, do this, you're going there, don't do this. You seem like that to me. Like, they didn't have a choice but to walk in the right path. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like in some ways I didn't. You're right.
Of course.
See, for my grandmother,
and with me,
my mom
this is the thing with me. With me, I was a single parent, so I allowed my son to go live with his dad, and then I had my daughter live with me. They both have different dads. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I did everything in my power to make sure that she was going to walk the right path by being an example. As a matter of fact, even going as far as taking jobs where I would work from home, so she don't have to come home to an empty house when she get out of school. But at the end of the day, when she reached a certain age where she had the influence of friends and her, you know, the basketball and all this stuff, and, you know, she's now into girls and all this shit. When the influence took over, there's nothing I could do no matter what the hell I did. And I was not going to even think about doing something crazy to put myself in a position where I'm going to jail now, because I done hucked this chick up against the wall, because we're in that era where if the kids call 911, you're going to jail. So it's just one of those things where damn if you do and damn if you don't. And trust me, where my baby's at today, it is really a like, mommy, I am so sorry. I love you so much. I'm sorry I put you through this.
But you have to realize that you can only prepare people, your children, whoever. You can only prepare them. After that, it's their choice to make. And I tell anybody, you cannot beat yourself up if they didn't make the choices you would have made, because guess what? You've got one life. Everybody on here, we got 4 lives. Of course. Only each one of us can do anything. So you can feel bad about choices, but if you think you did your best, that's all that matters. You can't say
I did my best. I take the phone calls, I put the money on the books, and I'm like, look, when it's court date, okay, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. Like, I'm living my life.
Right. So, and the thing is, guess what? Every parent out there thinks they're doing the best they can do. And you know what? We all may be, but every one of us is fucking up somewhere. Nobody wants to own up to that, but everybody here is screwed up. And nobody's perfect. I guarantee you, everybody on here, your daughter's got daddy issues, your son's got mommy issues. Whether you relate to them or not, that's part of the process. But you have to accept that. And like I said, I mean, even now, you can always be an influence or a teacher. It's just you're not going to be the primary after they get to a certain point, because they've got freedom of choice and, you know, free will.
Right.
So, you know, do your
right,
thing.
Of course.
I can only threaten.
That's right.
Well, I can threaten you for the rest of your life, but when you're in my house, it's different.
You are a bully. That's
So?
okay. I'll leave it right there.
What's your point? I just met my daughter's boyfriend for the first time tonight before I got on this show. He likes me and he's afraid of me, and he should be. Fear is healthy. Fear is very healthy.
You need to do it. You should do it like I do it. Invite them to the house, and when they get there, be cleaning your gun.
Oh my God!
Yeah, the problem is he's a little. I can pull that off with the younger ones. They're seniors in high school now, so he's probably seen Bad Boys and all that. But I've done that before. I asked one of her boyfriends had he ever made love to a man if he wanted to. You know, he was nervous and it was cool. And I always offer him alcohol. And if they say anything other than I don't drink, you fail. Oh, you know, look, I just want you to know I'm around. I'm a fun-loving guy. I'm just a little.
CB,
I love my job.
Tell me something.
I love my job.
We got what? We got 14 minutes. Oh my gosh. Yes, let's go. Oh Lord.
Wow.
Oh Lord.
Wow. I'm letting y'all know.
That was really interesting right there. I'm like,
This is what you get from the Grey Goose.
Exactly.
She said that I started reading. See? Reading is fundamental. Tell her here. And listen,
really
I have to be good tonight because I have to take a 6-hour drive tomorrow. So, you know, it's all good though. Gotta love my life.
A lot of hours.
That's one way. You know.
Oh hell no.
One way.
That better be a good paying job.
I'm not a lot of things, but I am kind of a whore sometimes. So yes, it is.
Okay. Just being a job whore is good. Do it.
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
CB, should we take a pause for the calls?
Unless you're popping out of a cake.
All right.
Anime, eat it, anime.
We're gonna take a pause for the calls.
불타오르네. I'ma make you pump like that. 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 Jack like that.
Hey everybody, let's get together and feel alright with CB and the Boys radio show. Join us every Wednesday for your Midweek Motivator, offering you music, conversation, motivation, laughter, and a whole lot of fun. One love.
All right, and we are back. And our topic that we're discussing is refined versus unrefined, or bourgeoisie versus ghetto.
So what makes you refined, CB? What makes you refined, baby? Talk. What's refined to CB? Let's talk with definition.
Well, to me, refined is just
in 7 minutes or less.
Finer things in life. Aspiring to the finer things in life. Changing your mindset to, think and grow rich, for example. Rich man, poor man. The only difference between a rich man and a poor man really is their mindset. The thinking. You have to change your thinking. And once that happens, then change can begin. And that's really what it's all about, in my opinion. Would you guys agree with that or disagree?
Okay. I got a question. Before we go. I want to answer a question with the question. So
okay.
I do agree with what you said about the differences. When you say the differences between a rich man and a poor man is his thinking, his mindset. I agree. I think that's very age old, and it still holds true. My question to you is, can a man be refined? Can a person, I'm saying a man because I'm a man, can a person be refined without being rich? Now,
hell yes.
Hell
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Without a doubt.
I'm refined and I'm not rich. I was a mess 30 years ago, 25 years ago. Anyway.
Now, you're just a mess in a different way. You're a mess. We love that shit, but girl, what are you talking about? She said I was like it was past tense. We've met. Get your ass out of here.
Look, what had happened was.
So I say that because, and I know you guys are going to clarify, but I have to poke to bear.
This is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. 30 years ago, had somebody said something interesting, I might have probably really gotten up and what? It's on. 30 years later, you think twice. You're like, you know what? It's not worth it. I'm going to pray about this. I pray about everything. I'm going to pray about this and I'm going to walk away. But this is what I do know. If you tap my shoulder when I turn my back, it's a whole fight. It's a whole fight. Mm-hmm. We are both going to jail. We're both going before the judge because I know I'm going to win. So there. But I'm still refined. I'm not going to let you do what the hell you want to do out of me without me snapping. Not at this age.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So let me flip the script. So, CB, what for a woman? What is refined in a woman to you? Because obviously you've been a woman the majority of your life, as far as I know. We ain't gonna talk about the 70s. We ain't gonna talk about the 70s. Everybody was doing it. No, that's cool. Everybody was doing it. But so as a woman, if you're like, okay, Mimi, there you go again.
I did. Wait a minute. Wait. I just responded. Did I not respond to the
explain to Mimi later. God damn, girl. Crystal, will you please answer the question? I can't talk to Mimi.
No.
George, will you turn her off?
Crystal, don't say nothing.
God. Oh my God. Hey.
No.
Thank you. Listen, even if it was dudes out there going, damn, Shorty looking good, she got curls and all that, they all went lift because they were like, God damn, is she deer in the headlights in this some bitch tonight? Will somebody please get her another or take away her freaking margarita? Anyway, back to the question. Shorty, you keep drinking. Talk to me, girl. What's your definition in terms of the ladies? If you were to give Ariana advice on being refined, if you were to give a niece, a coworker's friend, in terms of saying, hey, this is how you separate yourself, what are your thought processes on, let's just put it like this, all ladies are women, all women ain't ladies. The refinement plays a big part in that. Go.
Well, basically, if it were Ariana, and I have told her, you always behave as a lady. And that's how I was raised. That's how I raised my daughter and my son to be a gentleman and my daughter to be a little lady. And it's always been that way. That's how I was raised. That's how I raised them. And it's so ironic to me, not really ironic, but it's so funny to me that, people marvel at how well behaved my kids are and how mannerable they are. They have great manners. And, you know, I find that funny because I thought that's what a parent was supposed to do. Because I always have believed that it all starts at home. If people don't have home training, then they're not going to go out in the world and have those skills, if you will, to be able to make it out there. If you don't have that, if you don't know how to talk to people, if you don't know how to handle situations, if you don't know how to believe in yourself, if you don't exert that confidence, I think being refined is exuding a confidence and attitude about yourself, a positivity of knowing that when you walk in the room, all eyes are on you. You know, whether they are or not, in your mind, yeah, I'm the baddest mofo to walk on the planet. Deal with it. This is me. Take me or leave me. That a sense of being refined, rather than having a ghetto mentality, thinking that you can't do something, listening to the people telling you can't do something. Because I'm the opposite. If someone tells me I can't do something, my response is, watch me.
CB, I want you to dunk a basketball in 3 months.
Watch me.
She said, watch me get this step ladder, and I bet you I climb this joint and punch this shit. No, I get that. I think it's interesting because I ask women because it's funny how like beauty is seen so differently. I.e. men are visual, and women tend to be more of the let me kind of do the whole Terminator thing, see you from the inside down, break you down, et cetera, et cetera. So I think for me, when I think about that, it's little things. It's subtleties to me. Refinement to me involves subtleties, nuances, little things. It's not something glaring. And that's just me as a man. Because what I see, anybody can put on a facade for a little bit of time. This is going to sound crazy, but remember the movie The Bronx Tale? I don't know if y'all saw it or not, but
yeah,
Bobby D was in there. Okay, so you know when I was younger in high school and college and things like that, I used to really, really use that whole little trick he said. If you unlock a woman's door, let her in, close the door and walk around. If she reaches over, and unlocks your door, she's
100 times I've done it.
She's selfish.
100 times I've done it, and I promise to God it's true. I promise to God it's true.
It is something to live by. He's right. It's so crazy because, believe it or not, art imitates life in a lot of ways. When I say little things, believe it or not, you ladies are like way over our heads and you're thinking about putting the puzzle together for what's needed. We are very simplex in the way that we look for small things that indicate larger things. See, pennies make dollars. And so you can try to put on all the airs and the looks and talk and all that bullshit, and it means nothing to us. Because CB made a good point. She was like, okay, if you're the baddest one to walk in the room, the people will notice. That's true. But guess what? You can be the ugliest motherfucker in there, but if you come in there with your titties hanging out, guess what? All eyes are still on you. Does it really make a difference? But when one-on-one or in a group setting, how do you handle yourself? How do you respond to certain types of adversity? How do you handle a situation with the gentleman that you're with? These are the little things that a real gentleman, as we're calling it, is going to look for. And it really has not much to do with the superficial, but that takes a certain level of maturity and being grown for someone to see. It doesn't matter what your net worth is. But again, we have to get beyond that because clearly the ones that are dressing up, to me, that's like, it's almost like putting on a costume. When you strip yourself down, literally and hypothetically, or not hypothetically, but proverbially do the stripping down of everything within someone, you start to see them for who they are. The proverbial just bearing everything, your soul. And so that's when we find out who you really are.
But we've got 1 minute. I said before, it's a state of mind. Right. It's a state of mind. If you don't have that mindset, it's mind over matter. You have to have that certain mindset. If you don't have that mindset, you can take the ghetto out of the girl or take the girl out of the ghetto, but you can't. The ghetto is still in the girl. You have
the neck rolling
mindset. And
but
to be continued for another show. So we have 1 minute left. So everybody say your goodbyes. And
say your goodbye. Love, God bless. See you guys next time. That's it.
Yes, y'all. I'm here. I'm out.
Peace.
George got a fresh cut. Go and tell him.
Peace, love, and hair grease.
And thank you so much, guys, for rocking with us tonight. You've been listening to CB and the Boys. We come to you every Wednesday as your midweek motivator. So hopefully you got motivated tonight for some laughter and a whole lot of fun, and music's coming up. So we will see you next week, where we'll have another fire hot topic for you, or a continuation of this one. Who knows? You never know. We're unpredictable. So anyone, if you're watching us on YouTube, definitely like us and subscribe. If you're watching us on Facebook, don't forget to hit that like button. And check us out on iHeartMedia as well as Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to visit our website, cbandtheboys.org. So without further ado, shout out to BTS for a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Grammy performance, the best of the entire night. So if you guys have not seen BTS's performance, I highly, highly recommend you do so. It was phenomenal. And they sang their song Butter, which is just so popular right now. They did not win the Grammy, unfortunately. And of course, we'll save that too for another show to talk about the music business. So look forward to that. Anyway, everyone, enjoy the rest of your week, and we will be back next week, same time, same station. Enjoy the rest of your night, and also shout out to BTS for their Permission to Dance concerts in Vegas. So far, they've been a major success. So here to take us home is
it's the hot girl coach from BTS. Like butter, like criminal undercover. Don't pop like trouble, breaking into your heart like that. Cool shade summer, yeah, owe it all to my mother. Hot like summer, yeah, I'm making you sweat like that. Break it down. Ooh, when I look in the mirror, I'm not too hard to do. I got the super tight glow, so ooh, it's a first step right left with my beat. I like some more rock with me, baby. Know that I got that heat. Let me show you can talk it, see it. First step right left with my beat. Get it, let it fly. So smooth like the car I ride. Even your best party planner couldn't catch this vibe. Big boss, and I make a hater stay on their job. And I be on these girls' necks like the back of their bob. Houston finest in the room with bouncing. Make them all get acted in their suits and blouses. I remember writing flows in my room in college. Now I need global entry to the shows I'm rocking. You like cocoa butter, my drip more than a puddle. They know that I'm the wave. Take over every summer. They must be giving CD if they ever had to wonder. Cause every beat I get on gets turned into hubble bubble. Side step right left with my beat. Yeah. God like the moon rock with me, baby. Know that I got that heat. Let me show you cause talk it shit. The side step right left with my feet. Get it, let it roll. Let it I put my wrist on the next guard. Got that right body and the right mind. Rolling up the party, got the right side. Right. Hey, fresh boys pull up and we lay low. On the trend, getting moving with the bass go. Go army right behind us with the day show. Let's go. Side step right up to my feet. I like the moon rocking me, baby. Know that I got that heat. Let me show Get it, let it go.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Thank you for blogging Youth Talk Radio.
And there you
Thank you for blogging Youth Talk Radio.
All right.